And then I said, at least I'm not Greg Wallace. Ooh.
Oh! Would you believe? Oh, I can't believe the things that he's done. Oh, well, it'll all come out in the wash, like bad polyester.
Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Adequate. Our ongoing mission until we are cancelled and replaced by something far superior. To review every episode and movie of Star Trek in existence. To seek out new guests and make them very uncomfortable. To boldly go where many other Star Trek-based YouTube shows have gone before. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Treks and Trekkers, and everyone else except Greg Wallace. I am Captain Goodwill, and this is Trekkin Up North. Live! For the second week in a row!
Live!
And joining me, as ever, is the delectable Geesian from the planet Honk, star of the premiere of Smoggy Queens... It's Science Officer Synoiz!
You can't be the star of a premiere.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You were on the... What colour was the carpet?
Pink. It was a pink carpet.
Pink carpet right there this weekend. And honestly, I saw him in the local paper. He was in the local paper, ladies and gentlemen, and I thought for once he doesn't have to go on a register. He was actually on a premiere. It was something good.
It as to be like the Middlesbrough Daily List of Nonces or the obituaries. It was like those were the only two options.
It was amazing.
Greg Wallace got in there first.
It was amazing to see the words Velvet Snatch and then not disabled toilet at bus station. It was fantastic. I thought, finally, he's evolved from George Michael.
You write your mobile number in one place and suddenly it's the talk of town. But no, to be fair, actually, going off topic,
off topic,
Wednesday,
really.
I know, a tangent so early. How would have believed? On Wednesday, I got the opportunity with Go Global to go to the premiere of Smoggy Queens in Middlesbrough, and
of course they got a Macron down.
Yeah, well, they got everyone down. Well, one of the cast is from everyone. All the rest of the cast are from Middlesbrough, but one of the cast is from Newcastle, I think. But it was really weird though, interviewing people on the pink carpet, like the actors, before you've actually seen anything to do with the show. And it just felt really weird doing these interviews, being like, "Oh, I'm so excited about this and stuff," and they're really excited. And then sitting down to watch the premiere, where they were showing us like 2 episodes of it, and just being like, "Oh God, what if it's shit?" And it's just like this threat of going, "Oh God, put these interviews out," and being like, "Oh, what if it's terrible?" And seriously, it's available on BBC iPlayer now. It's called Smoggy Queens. I actually hurt from laughing so much during it. It's genuinely one of the funniest sitcoms I've seen in such a long time. And it was weird because it was like we were all laughing too much that we'd miss the next joke. So you know that thing where it's bang, 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 and you're still laughing about the previous joke, and then you're like, "Oh shit, I've missed something." That's how good it was, and it just, it's absolutely brilliant. So I'm so excited that to have been there with all of that and stuff. But yes, anyway, what are we doing here?
Smoggy Queens actually makes Middlesbrough look good because it's filmed in Newcastle. Anyway,
I told a mate to watch it, okay, and you'll get this when you watch the first episode. I told a mate to watch it, and the next thing I got was a text off him being like, "Her fucking eyebrows," and I was like, yes. And I'm just like, no more context. You have to watch it. But yeah,
it's kind of funny because I was speaking of Middlesbrough. I was actually in Middlesbrough, and it was an experience. For those that don't know, why is there a priest on my screen? Oh, that's right, I'm on a register. For those that don't know,
have you been molesting priests? Is that what you're taking it back?
They will learn, Graham.
You're like the Punisher. You're like the Punisher for choir boys.
I'm the finisher. So so I went down to Middlesbrough this weekend with Mrs. Captain Goodwill, and oh boy, what an experience that was. So much so that I actually had to post on Facebook. My experience of Middlesbrough was as follows. What in the live, laugh, love, crushed velvet sofa, mirrored furniture, grey pug called Luna, 39p, can of boost, just me and the kids now hunt, 6 kids to 10 different dads, benefit cheating, HMRC terrified, tracky stuck into socks, wearing Crocs as our lass wears Primark flip-flops, tribal tattoo, up the borough, heavily financed 2015 Nissan Juke with one working brake light, fake Canada Goose jacket, 9-year-old vaping 12-pack of Stella is Middlesbrough. Fucking quad bike riding, balaclava wearing, RIP Tyrone, up there with the angles and Princess Di, only 15, proper taken away from us as he sped away from the pigs with a kilo of coke in a park field. Happy hardcore, never knew me dad but have 7 Uncle Chavs. So really that was my experience of Middlesbrough, and I would urge everyone to visit Middlesbrough after seeing Smoggy Queens, because you will want to leave. But
it was actually really bizarre because one of our mates who I was there with, who was sitting on the other side of me, who's like a Hartleyfield event promoter, bizarrely, you know how it is with TV shows where it's not all filmed in the same place.
I've just realised 35p energy drinks, and here I am with a can of X. Anyway,
yeah, a can of X drinks. But no, that, you know, that thing in TV where you forget that they don't actually film it all in the same place. You know, that whole thing where it can change to one shot, and you're like, that's a different city. And it was hilarious because it literally has a bit where they go to Whitby, and they're there at the church at the top of the top of the hill in Whitby.
Yeah,
the famous Abbey. And and obviously when they finally got up the stairs and got there and walked through the graveyard, then it cut to like a church in Hartlepool, and my mate was like, I know that church, you know, and you're like, and that's obviously how TV works, but it's weird seeing it in practice. You're like, hang on, that's not the church. That's not the church at the top.
The reason is the Abbey's got a fantastic visitors centre, and my workplace is just down the road. So you don't want to like a gothic feel graveyard, and then you see my employer there, because I'd get PTSD. But no. So Smoggy Queens on BBC iPlayer, traumatic experience in Middlesbrough. Other than that, we had a really amazing time this weekend. We had the Nerdy Up North live quiz at Geek Retreat in Sunderland, which was fantastic. Thank you to everyone who braved Storm Bert, because, you know,
was it actually Storm Bert?
Storm Bert, or as I like to call it, a slight drizzle.
It was actually really difficult because obviously we saw like photos of Lee, not the usual ones he sends me, obviously, but we saw pictures of him like in like how snowed up his garden is, and just total snow there. And in Sunderland, it was like, oh, it was a bit rainy. It was massive. You're gonna need a bigger monitor.
His snowman had a 6-pack.
I think it was meant to be his legs, but I don't know what was going on with that snowman. He kind of forgot to build the rest of it. He was like, okay, so it's basically a snow bishop from the end of Aliens.
Or just what he Lieutenant Dan with a 6-pack. So
we had that, and then on Sunday
by the way, no, we're not going to skip over the fact that my team won. We are not going to skip over the fact that my team won. Yes, we can. My team won. And unfortunately, I did inherit 2 more fucking teapots. But
thank you everyone who came down to the quiz. You helped us raise loads of money for Sunday.
Thank you so much for the teapots.
And also, thanks to Zoe, we got 2 extra teapots added to Goodwill's total. Which is slowly taking over his house.
I have got nowhere to put them right now. Like I'm looking.
Get rid of some of your possessions.
Shut up.
You don't need these things. You don't need a bed.
Yes.
Get a hammock and then just litter the ground with breakable teapots just to make
the ultimate burglar alarm. But yeah, so then we had the 12-hour charity drive on the Nerdy Up North channel, and they raised just over £500, I believe.
Yeah. It was they raised like 470 on the day, but then obviously people kept donating afterwards, so I think it's well over 500 quid now, which is amazing.
Under the threat of removing his top, we deliberately did not donate until the stream ended, because
it sounds so horrible. It was literally, Paul was like, if we get to 500, I'll take my top off, and I was literally, it was at 570, and I was like, I'll donate 20. You know, and I was just like, I was just sitting there being like.
Show us your teapots, Goodwill. Christopher wants to see my teapots. Okay, so don't laugh. People think I've destroyed them. I haven't. They are literally Pride of place, right there.
Does Zoe check up on them?
Yes.
Does she kind of literally come around and say, "Is it secret? Is it safe?"
You should, yeah. She she
About
bought
the
something
teapots,
today.
obviously.
She bought something today, and I can't describe it because it's part of a Secret Santa gift, but it is the most unhinged box. It's like if someone escaped a mental institute and then raided a pound shop, unhinged box.
So it's from One Beyond then.
One Beyond sponsors, but it's yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we went out to get sponsored? We could get sponsored by all these other things. We're like, no, we've purposely chosen One Beyond because they represent our brand.
Pound stretcher,
Cheap.
adequate. Hey,
Pound
but,
stretcher, sir.
Pound stretcher. But we are here to review another delightful episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, episode 7, Fully Dilated. And I know what you're thinking, but Lee's not here. How could anything be fully dilated? Well, this is time dilation, my boy. This is not an
Lee's
open
not even
crevasse.
here. He's just gonna come. He's just gonna watch this back, being like, "Why don't they talk about the rest of me?"
I've dedicated an entire Twitch channel to him. So twitch.tv/Captain Goodwill, please subscribe. But this is episode 7, so we've only got 3 more episodes left in the entirety of Star Trek Lower Decks. So it is very yes, Beth, you can do that look. But yeah. Also, hello to everyone in the chat. Hello to Crimson. It's so nice to see you again. We got Chris Garris. Fantastic to meet Chris at the Nerdy Up North quiz. It was his hair.
Gorgeous, wasn't it? Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Oh, lovely. Would you believe?
No, that was Charles, wasn't it? It was Charles.
No, yeah, no, that was that was Charles.
Chris Garris.
We fought him to death once.
I'm bloody tired.
Yeah, no, we fought him to death once, but we decided to end it in some kind of love.
Hello to
Is
Charles.
That right, Chris?
Hello to Charles. Hello to Chris Garris, who we will fight to the death. He is a very, very loyal viewer, is Chris, and it is always an honour to see you there. I've just hit the microphone because I'm freaking out. Christopher, hello. We've got Paul from Nerdy Up North, and everyone else who is. What is Beth saying? I'm just freaked out. What Synoiz really means is get rid of Lee's naked photos you have around the house.
Yeah.
Where?
He's hidden them already. They're under his pillow. He's got that sort of teenage between the mattresses thing.
I mean, I do have Twerking Steve.
Oh God. Is that?
That is a
I may have missed
owl.
your stream. I may have missed your stream on Tuesday.
This is Twerking Steve. Oh, hello. My name is Steve.
Why is it Zoe's mission to slowly turn your house into the Resident Evil mansion? Are you just going to come home one day and she's like, okay, I fitted this large ornamental tiger that spins around when you replace its jeweled eyes? You just be like, could we just have a door pet?
Welcome to the Nerdy Up North channel. This is Trekkin Up North.
Has
Check
anyone
out
got any mice?
Me booty. Look at this me booty. Shaking like a Polaroid picture.
It's playing with me gout.
That poor owl having to live with those ghastly teapots. Wow. It's going to your house, Beth.
Wait till the Wolverines are back. We're gonna be giving the Beth the teapot.
I've
knocked over me cup. Would you believe?
Oh! But yeah, so
how many minutes? We're 15 minutes in and we haven't even started talking about the episodes. So I hope you like this bullshit, everyone.
For those listening, I'm so sorry. So yeah, Fully Dilated, start at 59499.6.
You can predict you're going to be fully dilated by then.
I can predict, yes.
I just need 1 hour with Lee.
I'd rather have Jeff the Fox. I bet you would, you dirty bastard. But, you dirty Beth. Your emotional support fox. But Yeah, so 59499.6 of the Cerritos is sent to repair yet another dimensional fissure. The third one in the week, apparently, and they're getting really good at it. So this is the overarching story that we are seeing throughout season 5. It's not as prevalent as I would like it to be, so I'm hoping the last 3 episodes it gets a little bit more relevant. But dimensional fissures are happening all over the quadrant, and for this one, we get to see a big purple D. USS Enterprise.
Oh,
D. Not the eggplant. But we so the purple D has fell through
You've
this
coined
dimension.
it now. You've got to use it.
Dimensional fissure after fighting evil clones of Tasha Yar or something, according to Freeman. I don't know, but it was a great.
I love it where Freeman's just like, oh, they're fighting against evil clones of Tasha
Yar. Oh hell, I don't know. I can't keep up.
It's just a common occurrence.
Yeah, the bullshit is awesome as per Synoiz. Oh, Crimson.
Thank you, Crimson.
At least it's not a Crimson D. But
we were laughing because obviously before we start recording, before we go live, I'm kind of like, hey, I haven't spoken to you in a couple of days, so like, do we just catch up now, or do we just do it on the actual stream and just vent all of our bollocks as part of the episode?
It has been a long ass week. I have been very quiet because my head has been down working so much. But yeah, so a dimensional fissure opens up, and this purple next generation Enterprise D appears. And as it goes back into the fissure, they realise that it has left some technology on a planet nearby. Freeman is looking for a senior science officer, and it is between Tendi and T'Lyn. And I'm going to say this right now. I came to this realisation after rewatching this episode. T'Lyn is my crush in Star Trek Lower Decks. She is hot. She is just cold and distant, which is how I like my women. So the sorry, I'm not Greg Wallace, honestly.
It's a sort of thing where obviously, like, you know, what did you think about this episode? Like, just before we get to it,
I coined the term filler to an extent. However, upon reflection, it is a great homage to the Star Trek Voyager episode where the planet that they land on is in the midst of time dilation, but they're not caught in orbit in this one as they are in Voyager, where, you know, they're stuck in orbit and they are revered as a god, and hundreds of years pass and everything like that. This is more simplified, but they find out that the Enterprise has left technology on this planet, and they need to go and save it before they can close the dimensional fissure, because they have to return it to its dimension. There is a senior science officer role up for grabs, so Tendi and T'Lyn are up for it. And the away team is done by the Lieutenant JGs because it's Chiquito. Is it Chiquito night, or I don't know what it's called.
That's literally the only thing in the episode that I didn't write down, because I was like, he's not going to bring that up. So
Food night.
How wrong I was.
Fully Dilated is a filler. Yes, where's Lee? The away team is the lieutenants, so it's Mariner, Tendi, and T'Lyn that are sent down.
And obviously Tendi is not happy about this, because basically Tendi really wants the chief science officer position, and then when she finds out T'Lyn's applied as well, basically she's very threatened because T'Lyn is like amazing at everything. And so the A plot of this, I'd say it's the A plot of this, is basically like Tendi is competing with T'Lyn to show who's the best scientist. And basically, Tendi doesn't want T'Lyn coming on the mission, because she's just like, well, no, this is my chance to show what a good scientist I am, and then I'll get the job. Whereas T'Lyn is, as typical for a Vulcan, there is no ego. She's just like,
nonchalant.
Hey, yeah, I'm just doing my job, kind of thing, and that ends up winding up Tendi more, you know.
Yeah. So I loved again Ta'ana just effing and jeffing, like, I didn't go to Starfleet medical to go to a fucking costume party.
It's literally just like she's doing the undercover plastic surgery, like everything, like every single time we have like where they visit another society, they just kind of go, okay, we've used plastic surgery to cut your balls off and make your face look weird, and it just And it's just Tiana just being like, undercover plastic surgery. I'm a doctor, not whatever the fuck this is. I just love that she's just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
So yeah,
great play on the catchphrase.
They get their plastic surgery to look like members of the alien race, and they go to the transporter room where Rutherford and Boimler are drinking micheladas, cocktails in the transporter room, and Rutherford is sporting some nice.
Are they made up? Like they're not a real drink, are they?
I don't know. Well, you see, we did this with the amuse-bouche. Is this the amuse-bouche? Is this the Mandela effect of the amuse-bouche? What's it? Micheladas.
Yeah, because they basically act like, hey, we found this on the pad.
It's real.
Is it? Oh,
it's
wow.
real. Oh, okay.
It looked fucking horrible. I've got to say. I actually wrote down vile cocktails with shrimp.
I'm gonna describe it in my best romantic voice. No, my best M&S voice.
Your best Middlesbrough M&S voice.
Oh, mate, you got 20p. A michelada is a Mexican drink made with beer, lime, juice, assorted sauces, often chili-based, spices and chili peppers. It is served in a chilled, salt-rimmed glass. There are numerous variations of this beverage throughout Mexico. In Mexico City, its most common form is prepared with beer, lime, salt, and a particular hot sauce or chile slices. There are several optional ingredients such as Maggi sauce, soy sauce, whatever the hell that is, Worcestershire sauce, chamoy powder, I don't know, serrano peppers, or clamato.
I'm not entirely sure whether I'm supposed to check out the in-flight menu or just come. That's the voice it was. Either way, though, it looks fucking horrible. I'm
looking at it here.
Like, chat. Do you agree with me that like I can't do savory drinks? I can't do savory cocktails. Like
I'm looking at this here.
What are they called? What's the Bloody Mary where it's
Bloody
like tomato
Mary,
and stuff? And I'm just
this just looks like alcoholic tomato soup.
Something nice.
Yeah, it's an alcoholic
tomato soup.
Yeah, it's alcoholic soup.
That's where someone's trying to cover the fact they're an alcoholic, and they're just like, "No, I made soup," and I'm like, "Why does this have vodka in?" And
and thus Bovril was invented. But so no, it's gravy. It's fine. So no, it's for Starbite 80.
This is tequila.
Yeah. Oh, I saw. Shout out to Admiral's Funniest Frontier. They came up with a brilliant insult today on their channel. You are so bad, you would be fired from Starbase 80.
Wow.
Yeah, you are devastated right now.
To be fair, they, I think in Starbase 80 they just wait for the Darwin effect to kick in.
Middlesbrough. So yeah, so they explain in the transporter room as they're having micheladas that there is a time dilation because of the planet's core, and for every second that passes on the Cerritos, 1 week passes on the planet's surface. So Boimler gives them a special necklace that will signal them to go somewhere secluded in order to be beamed back. They will beam down, and what will seem like a few hours for them might just be under a second for the Cerritos. So they beam down, and as they beam down, Boimler pokes himself in the eye with one of his cocktail accessories and spills michelada all over the transporter console, frying it. On the planet's surface, we see that it's a pre-industrial, it's a pre-warp civilization. I think it's pre-industrial as well, so it's sort of like 16th, 17th century Earth reminiscent.
No, I don't know if it's that. I think it's like 1800s America, maybe. I don't know.
Frontier, perhaps. Something like that. Early colonial, maybe. Yeah.
Early colonial.
Like early colonial. But so they are able to find the equipment. We get the introduction of Snell. I was nearly saying Schnell. Koala, 8 weeks. But we get to. Do not make me go.
Excuse me. What happened between the years of 1930 and 1946? Nothing happened.
We were all on holiday. Check with Poland. But we are. He left Germany to marry a Dairy Queen. But I can't do a German like twang because it's very camp. So I'm just like, would you like to see my hand?
Oh, mein Hand. Oh.
Mein Hand. Oh, Klaus.
But, I do like though that it's like throughout this whole thing there is Snell who is basically like just, and it's very weird because they basically, you know how Lower Decks basically makes tropes out of all of the Star Trek stuff, like the things, where he basically just goes, oh, whenever we get into one of these pre-warp civilizations, there's always one creepy member of the community who just gets really suspicious and follows us around.
It's a Carbon Creek situation.
So just they had all of that, and then they've just made this guy who purely exists to be this weird creep who's following them around and checking and stuff. Also, is Carbon Creek a reference to the Voyager episode?
No, Carbon Creek is a season 2, episode 1 Star Trek. Season 2, episode 2 Star Trek Enterprise episode called Carbon Creek, where one of T'Pol's relatives in the 1950s crash landed with her Vulcan crew in Carbon Creek in the United States.
That's it. I thought it was, and I was just like, that's very nicely slotted in there.
One of the famous lines, one of my most favourite lines is where he goes, I must be back later. I Love Lucy is on. And I'm just like, the Vulcans love I Love Lucy. Ricky, Prime Director.
I just love all of the stuff in this episode because you were describing it like that Voyager episode where they get the time difference and they think they're gods in the sky. But it's like that mixed with Carbon Creek. It has loads of stuff in common with Carbon Creek from Enterprise.
Carbon Creek,
they all have to get jobs. They all have to get jobs. And while you're saying this is a filler episode, I'm kind of like, I really enjoyed this. It might be a filler episode. It might not be progressing the plot too much. But what if the plot isn't so much the dimensional portals opening? It's actually the evolution of the crew, where it's all the sort of relationships growing between the crew. Because what we do in this episode is we basically get the relationship between Tendi and T'Len. And we get like sort of Boimler and Rutherford growing their beards and stuff, and we get like
hooray for facial hair,
lots of cameos and stuff. I just thought it was really fun, and I have to say the planet that they beamed down to, there was something gorgeous about it. I think this might have been my favorite location we've had in Lower Decks because all of it just looked so pretty, and I was like, I could watch an entire series set in this planet, you know.
But the revelation for this series, for this episode, is that the technology that they find in a crater that has been there for years at this point contains a signal, a positronic signal within the wreckage, and they pull away, they see a nose, and right there it is Lieutenant Commander Purple Data.
His head, obviously, which ties into Time's Arrow.
Time's Arrow when he's stuck in 19th century San Francisco.
Well,
Brent Spiner makes a return.
Yeah, but it's the lurker who's the lurker in that one? It's
the lurker is Samuel Clements.
Yeah, that's it. So Schnell is basically like all of them mixed together, but with an aspect of Samuel Clements. But it's great. It's great to have Brett Spiner back in this episode.
I loved it. This was the greatest surprise when I watched this last week and tonight, and it's so annoying. It's a privilege, and thank you so much, Paramount, for allowing me to have the screener. But it is also super fucking annoying when I finished last week's Trekking, watched episode 7, and then couldn't say a goddamn word for a week about Brent Spiner being in Star Trek.
Hold on. You have friends who also have screeners, so you will have been. I know for a fact you will have been chatting there.
I totally didn't message Sean, Mike, and just.
I was actually gonna message Sean, but I was like, nope. I've seen his Facebook, and he's slutting about. So
Joseph, not Sean.
Okay, right, fair enough.
Sean, he's not. How dare you? How dare you say he's slutting about? How dare you? Sean is a king.
I bet you were.
I bet he's fully dilated. But I
just love that I'm just doing absolute slander towards Sean.
I love Sean. I love Sean. He follows me on Blue Sky. Blue Sky, follow me now. But yes, so the
I
accident
still
with
haven't made one. Do I need to make? Oh, do I
yes,
need
you
to
do.
make a
Get
blue
away
sky
from the
one?
Musk platform. But so stop laughing, Christopher. It's not funny. It's slander. At least he's not Greg Wallace. But due to the accident in the transporter room, they are stuck on the planet. And as we see all the way through the main story, it turns from weeks to months. 4 months. They take the abandoned shack that they saw on the way to the wreckage. They restore it, and Tallinn builds a windmill. Tendi is getting more and more obsessed with competing with Tallinn because she's building up her research base. So when she gets back to the Cerritos, she will be considered for the senior science officer role. And then Tallinn just comes in nonchalant as ever, and she's just like, "This is interesting. I have built a windmill." And then
Yeah, I've also made all of this grain using our new windmill.
what I love though, when they first get to the planet, is Tendi's enthusiasm for the planet, where she's like, "Oh look, bricks!" I love that so much. It's just so beautifully innocent from Tendi when she gets excited over a brick.
But this is the wonderful thing. The characterization in this episode is absolutely hilarious because the three we have so many plots inside plots in this one, but essentially we have Tendi trying to outdo Tallinn and trying to sort of get this massive like research portfolio together, where she ends up sort of bringing Data's head back to life in order to sort of get him to help her become the best scientist. So she's constantly in competition with Tallinn, whereas Tallinn is basically just doing all the work for them. So she's basically like going fixing the house up, making a windmill, and then she
Creating
ends
giant grapes.
yeah, she becomes amazing at agriculture. So basically, sort of like makes huge fruit or whatever. Goes off to the goes off to the town, sells all of the fruit, makes loads of money, and then works out that she can turn the fruit into hair care products that makes everyone beautiful. And has my favorite line in the whole thing. And there are so many good lines in this episode, but it's literally just like, "I have improved their lives without breaking protocol. We are also now rich," and then just dumps this bag of gold coins on the table.
It's Data's line. It's Data's line when Tendi's freaking out, and Data goes, "I fail to see how adding bounce to curls can alter civilization."
Yeah. Yeah, because she's like, "Oh, it must be breaking the Prime Directive if she's giving them hair treatments and stuff." but yeah, so Tallinn's whole thing is basically she just literally lands on this planet, and within a year she's become a millionaire. She's managed to revolutionize their sort of culture and like sort of give them like this really good life. And Tendi's like, "I'm gonna do all the science stuff," you know.
But then Marina's story, yeah.
Yes, she's wanting to have her inner light moment.
Yeah, she wants to have a family, play the flute.
Yeah. So she makes herself a flute out of soap. Because she gets sent to prison for basically poking someone in the eye. Gets put in prison. So she literally goes, "I'm gonna go and live my life like like Picard did." So she goes off to find like a husband and then have a family and then do all of the life stuff. And basically like ends up immediately getting arrested and then in 2 months basically making a flute out of soap and not learning how to play it. And then she gets let out of prison and immediately commits another crime. And
she extinguishes the eternal flame. The must be Planet Bangles, but the eternal flame.
So everyone else is like doing all of this like dramatic stuff, and Mariner just basically spends the whole time in prison, which is hilarious.
Again, though, they really have some good lines because he's just like, "Hey guys, any spotted any good rats lately?"
I love the bit at the end where she realizes that actually the prison, all the people in the prison are actually her family, her inner light family and stuff. And then she hugs them, and then she's like, "I found my family," and the guy's like, "And 2 of us are murderers."
Shh, don't ruin this.
I have to say, like, whatever we say, like, whether we feel this is an episode that, like, brings the plot across in leaps and bounds, or is it like dramatic enough to justify being a final series episode?
Yeah.
It's the fact of the one-liners in this, the characterization in this,
so
and
good.
just how I don't know. It's wonderful. Like I feel like I learned a lot more about Tallinn, and it was so good getting Ben Spiner back.
I wrote more quotes for this episode than I have done for any other episode. Like where Tendi just goes, "I can't compete with her giant melons."
Yeah, no, and then when Talin manages to shock the Snell guy by being like, "No, we are not weirdos. We are traveling entertainers," and then immediately picks up some rocks and starts juggling them, and he's totally amazed by this. And Mariner's like, "I didn't know you could juggle," and she's like, "I cannot. It was simply algorithmic tossing." Algorithmic tossing. You can't even select that on Grindr.
we
That costs extra.
what is this episode?
I got shrimp in my eye.
But then you got you got Rutherford and Boimler just rubbing the console down with their uniforms, and there's like Michelada everywhere. They just start licking the console clean, and it's just like, oh, it tastes like liver. And she's like, clearly doesn't wash his hands when he uses this.
But that's it, because those are the plots on the planet are there, but the actual other plot, like, I don't know, D or E plot or whatever, is that basically Boimler and Rutherford are literally just trying to clean the console, but a year goes by in the time that they're taking the tops off to try and wipe down the console, and they end up licking it and electrocuting themselves just to get the cocktail off there. And it's like,
so
that is their entire plot for this episode.
It literally
and there's
is
something funny about how stupid that is as an idea.
Their entire plot is like a minute when you think about it. It's so funny. It's like a 60-second plot.
Talin builds a windmill.
Talin builds a windmill. Tendi reanimates Data's head, and Data offers to help Tendi with her promotion, which I think is really sweet. And then obviously Snell is still lurking about. He sees
been a creepy creep.
He sees like Tendi talking to the severed head, and he's like, yeah. And then but when he breaks in, because Tendi at this point it's like 8 to 10 months in, and Tendi's just not sleeping because Data makes the observation that, well, Talin can do more because Talin doesn't require as much rest as you do. So Tendi's just like, then I shall not sleep for the pursuit of science. And Data's like, no, wait, what? I love the fact
I think you need to sleep.
I love the fact he makes a reference to, obviously, when he was trapped in San Francisco, and he's just like, and she's like, how did you get out of that situation? He's just like, I hid in a cave until Captain Picard and Commander LaForge and some guy in a grey suit
No, some guy in a silver jumpsuit. Just like... like literally this episode is a wonderful combination of 4 very famous like Trek episodes, and I kind of love that they've managed to do that. They managed to Frankenstein a good plot episode from this, you know.
But yeah, so Snell ties up, Tendi falls asleep. Snell hits Talin when Talin comes up to find Tendi, because Tendi's isolated herself from everyone for months on end. He ties them both up, and I love the fact that Talin, like, the tie, he's like, I'm gonna bring an angry mob, and I'm gonna show them all the severed head. And Talin just goes, could I interest you in another juggling display?
And he's like, and then he's just like, oh. And he thinks about it, and he's like, no.
And then he's like, I'll be back with the angry.
Impressed by juggling.
Yeah. I'll be back with the angry mob. And then he comes out and just goes, yeah.
This is it, man. This is like, if I could define what Lower Decks does best, is Lower Decks does memorable characters better than anything. It's the fact of it, it literally just has these characters that only appear for like one episode, and then we're going to remember them for like forever. It's not like, even Next Gen didn't do it, where you could kind of have episodes and you're like, hey, what were the characters that they met on, that kind of thing? Whereas like Lower Decks, you just go, all of these characters could be brought back.
One of the episodes of The Search for Trek is titled Famous One and Done Characters, Favourite One and Done Characters. And yes, The Search for Trek is still coming. It's just taking far longer than...
It's edging us.
We are polishing. We are.
Mark's edging us.
We are buffing The Search for Trek as we speak. But there is... Oh, God damn it. Anyway. So that is cool. But one of the episodes was favourite one and done characters, and I sat there for a week, and I was going through 950 Star Trek episodes and 13 movies and everything like that. And I've got to be honest, like, it was 99% 4 seasons of Lower Decks characters
Yeah,
that were just absolute. I mean, we got the Moopsy, we got, I mean, look at this here, we got Chad, we
yeah.
got loads of others like Pock and Dar, cop landlords from last season, and it was just like. But then this season we got, like I said, we got Chad, and then we've got Snell when it's
Yeah.
and it's just
Is
like,
it the crazy birdmen? I forgot what the thing is, but
oh, the amuse
all
bouche.
all that stuff. Yeah, they. No, the
Guards,
birdmen
catch me
in
as I
season 3.
dramatically faint.
Yeah, but the bird food critics, like, they're never going to be in again. Like, and there's something absolutely wonderful about Lower Decks in that sense that you just
Yeah,
go, they are so good at characterization and so good at sort of just having these colorful characters everywhere. And I love it. Like, this is the thing. It's like, it's Trek is about finding new races and cultures and
yeah.
species and stuff like that. And then Lower Decks is basically, yeah, but let's make them really silly and funny, and it's great.
The the pendant starts glowing because Boimler and Rutherford are able to lick the console clean enough to send the signal.
Oh, basically, they gave Tallinn a pendant that
Yes.
will glow when they're ready to be beamed up, which basically
Yeah.
says, "Hey, go to an isolated area and we'll beam you up." Yeah,
Yeah. And then obviously they are tied up by Snell, and Tendi and Tallinn have a heart to heart. Tendi
mm.
admits that she cannot compete with Tallinn, and Tallinn is just like, I don't even want it.
Yeah. I didn't know we were competing.
Yeah,
And also, and
she was
it's
doing
this
it for the
wonderful.
camaraderie.
It was this Vulcan thing where basically, like, it's this miscommunication between them where basically Tendi was not speaking to Tallinn because she was jealous and she was like competing with her, and
Yeah,
Tallinn was doing all this science stuff in order to involve Tendi and be like, hey, do you want to make a windmill together? Do you want to help me with my fruits? Do you want to come to town and help me sell my fruits? Do you want to help me do this or whatever? And Tendi was like, no, I'm not going to help with any of that. And so Tallinn was trying to sort of build bridges between them, and Tendi was trying to compete with them. But then Tallinn goes, oh, I will withdraw my application because I obviously can't communicate well enough
mm.
if we've had this problem,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
the most Vulcan sort of view of the situation
It's a
imaginable, I
great,
think.
yeah, it's a great like contrast of assumptions on both sides. So you've got Tendi feeling that Tallinn is competing and is obviously far superior to Tendi. So Tendi feels what is the word? Not emasculated. I don't know why I'm saying emasculated,
The
but like
equivalent
feels
of
inadequate.
emasculated, yeah. Yeah.
Feels inadequate to what compared to Tallinn, and then Tallinn is just like, I wanted to keep you involved and build camaraderie, but I can't even communicate with that if you think I am doing this. So you see
Mm.
the vulnerabilities from both Tendi and Tallinn as a Vulcan, where it's communication and wanting
Yeah.
to convey what she wants to, like, convey her feelings, shall we say. Obviously Vulcans don't have feelings, but
Well, I think the best thing is that there's a line earlier on that we skimmed over that I think was a brilliant line, which is basically when Tendi is basically going, oh, complaining about sort of Tallinn also applying for the job, just being like, how could she do this? She knew that I wanted it so badly.
mm,
And then Rutherford says about Tendi, Vulcans probably just forget about feelings.
yeah,
And it's something that where, because obviously
we see
I'm
it a lot.
probably I'm very neurodivergent, as anyone knows me will attest to, and it's that idea of that is the thing where you have situations where you're not being nasty, you're not being insensitive, you just don't pick up on feelings that much. If someone
It's
if
yeah,
someone doesn't express something or do something to go, I'm angry about something, I will be like, so everything's fine then, right? Okay, let's carry on. And
I'm I'm very
it's
much the same. So I'm probably on the spectrum where I will do something because I am a massive dick, but not a Lee. But I am genuinely like a dickhead, and then I will say something and it will piss someone off. Like I will go quiet, and it will piss someone off, and I don't mean to. It's just I'm not doing it deliberately. I'm not being nasty. It's just who I am. I will go and talk like an absolute arsehole, and then I will shut up for days on end because I'm an absolute arsehole. It's not a deliberate thing. And
yeah.
you see where Tallinn concerns come from, where she's like, I can't even communicate to you, and a captain needs a science officer who is clear on their communication.
Yeah.
and you know they eventually make up and they unite their strengths to stand up and activate Data, whose head has been torn off, and he's like, do not deactivate me mid-conversation.
Yeah, basically because Tendi, when she was going nuts from lack of sleep, turned Data's head off.
Yeah.
But then she basically turns him back on, and then they ask him whether he is able to bite their ropes. Bite their ropes off. And what does he say? He says, like, can you chew through these bindings?
I've seen Commander Worf do this before. And Tendy's just like,
he's
you
just like,
are fully functional.
This is not in my programming. However, I have seen Lieutenant Worf do this.
Yeah, you are fully functional.
It's so
but
surreal.
yeah, so they escape, and Mariner is released because T'Lyn essentially bribes the guards with hair products. You've got powerful friends, waft. And Mariner's just like, can you let my family go as well? All the prisoners, he's just like, hell no. He's just like, oh well, I tried.
to be fair, Mariner does just try and attempt to get all these murderers let out of jail. And I'm like, Mariner, maybe not. Maybe don't set them all free.
But obviously they escape, and Snell goes after them because he is trying to prove that they are witches, because they've got a severed head that is undead, an undead severed head.
Yeah, he's got the full mob. He's basically got everyone. He's like, look, they're witches. Come follow me. We're going to look at them. And then accost them outside the jail. And then he immediately goes, they've got a purple demon head in their bag. And then he grabs the bag, and what falls out is a massive grape with a face drawn on, like Wilson from Castaway.
And I love the fact that everyone just like, get a job, Snell.
I love it. Who cares? Get a job, Snell.
So the signal is being beeped, so they need to get out of the village quick before they break the Prime Directive by being seen to beam up. So they leave the village, and Snell is in hot pursuit. They are able to climb the mountain. Well, not the mountain, like the hill that they first beamed up on.
Generic Star Trek hill.
Generic Star Trek, but it's a Vasquez Rocks homage again. It's
it is.
purple
You've
Vasquez.
been there. You've been there.
It is.
I could have gone there, but I did not.
I climbed to the very top of Vasquez Rocks, and let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, trekkers and trekkers, I am a good climber. However, Tiffany, my friend,
the girl I had hired for the evening. I'm sorry. I just love the idea of Tiffany just be like, "You've got me for 2 hours. What do you want to do? Let's climb Vasquez Mountain."
She's Canadian. You've got me for 2 hours, buddy. She climbed Vasquez Rocks.
I do want to hire loads of prostitutes and just teach them Warhammer.
She's not. She is a very talented cosplayer. She climbed Vasquez Rocks in sandals.
Bloody hell!
I literally wore these. Okay, and I climbed Vasquez Rocks. She climbed it in goddamn sandals, and I was like, I'm gonna have to follow her because she may die. And I'm like, I don't know what I could do, but you know,
that's actually good. The only way I can climb mountains is like carried in a palanquin or something by like sort of men in loincloths. That's the only way I can make it up any kind of hill.
It was really weird, and I don't know if I've said this before, but when we climbed Vasquez Rocks, we had to be quiet because there was someone legit asleep in a crevasse.
What?
Like, I'm not even joking. Like, legit asleep. Like,
were they like?
And I'm like, what the?
Burning alive or anything? Or
oh
like...
no, it was April. It wasn't that hot.
Oh, okay, right.
It was still like, dude, why are you asleep in Vasquez Rocks?
It's almost like America doesn't have decent housing. It's almost like it's almost like they have possibly one of the worst.
It's almost like they've just employed a Cheeto again. But
don't worry, he's an amazing businessman. I'm sure he'll turn everything around. Luckily, I had skin shoes.
There's go my immigration plans. But so they are able to beam away back to the Cerritos, and they're just like, the hell took you so long? And you just see that prawn fall from Boimler's head. He's just like, oh, there was an issue with the LCARS.
Yeah, they literally get back, yell at them, and then they're just there, topless, covered in like tomato and cocktail with this desk with electricity coming out of it, just with this panicked look on their face, and they're just like, it was the LCARS that
Yeah.
messed it up.
I like the conversation between Freeman and Data as well in the ready room where he's like, "What? I'm curious. What color is your Enterprise?" And she's just like, "Oh, just a generic grey." Why would you choose grey when purple is an option?
Yeah. Just this weird little sort of bit of like, hey, purple universe is better kind of logic.
Of course, I'm now
But
waiting for Fan Home to produce the Purple Enterprise D because we know fans now want
but
it.
see, that's another thing. Along with Moopsy, it's the idea of literally they could just release a purple Enterprise D and people would love it. Like
Oh,
it's
they
just,
will. But Data
but
convinces Freeman about the promotion, doesn't he? Like
yeah,
he talks to him.
he points out to her like, look, after spending time with them, I have a recommendation regarding who should be your chief science officer. And then we basically cut to like their 10 equivalent of 10
The
forward, the
10
bar
forward, yeah.
or whatever, and they're all doing it where what is it, like Rutherford and Boimler are celebrating nothing really happening for them, getting clean, I guess. But then Tendi and Tallinn come in and announce the news that they've both been made chief science officer because Data was saying that they work so well together, that they bounce off each
complement
other.
Yeah.
They complement each other with Tendi's communication skills and Tallinn's like science skills or whatever, that they can do the job together. Which is it's a cop out, but at the same time, I like it as a plot development where it kind of goes, look, at the end of the series, both of them are chief science officer on
And
a
working
on a ship.
working
Yeah.
together is sometimes the best option because your strengths are someone else's weaknesses and vice versa. So you get the best out of people. I love the fact that they try and guilt trip Boimler and Rutherford, where they basically say like, we were down there a year, and Rutherford and Boimler are just like, well, it must have been a benefit for you. You must have learned something from it or anything like that. And I love the fact that Tallinn is, what is it Mariner or Teddy that says you owe us big time, and then Tallinn's like, they are right, you do owe us big time.
Yeah.
And then we end with Mariner saying, well, there's one thing I did learn, family and the flute, and she can't even play it. She's just
Yeah, she gets her soap
screeching.
flute out and starts trying to play it. Starts trying to play the song from Inner Light, but then it
Yeah.
goes into just the generic Lower Decks theme, I think.
There was a lot of
or is it the
it's just
she
anything.
plays a lot of themes.
Just anything. There was a lot of one-liners in this episode that that I found really, really funny.
Go and enjoy your science fruits.
Yeah. From Ta'ana to all the way to bloody Tillin, like, could I interest you in another juggling display?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not saying this was a bad episode. I think I'm more concerned that we've got 3 episodes left and the overarching like story has not been like addressed any in 7 episodes so far. So I guess there's a little bit of frustration from that. But this is a filler episode, but a good filler episode, I would say.
It's a difficult one because the fact is that the more that the series is going on, the more I'm going, okay, this is the tone and the pace that we're getting for this series. So I'm kind of seeing it as not being like a lull episode. I'm seeing it as like Next Generation is, where there wasn't an overarching plot, where it's like, well, there might have been where some changes happen at the end of the series or something, or some things are foreshadowed. But essentially, we're just going, hey, we had an episode of Lower Decks, and it was a good one, and we enjoyed it, and it made us laugh. And yeah, and then at the end, if they do pull oh, look, there's a big thing happening in the last episode, that would be good, but it would feel out of place at this point.
It would feel out of place, and we know that with animated shows, it's sometimes 18 months in advance. So this series was planned out, storyboarded, and everything before the cancellation came down. I personally feel if they ended it without any climax or anything like that, I would be happy with that because it leaves the door open for more Lower Decks on another platform or maybe a movie or anything like that. I would be.
And at least they don't end it like Enterprise.
It never happened. But yeah, 3 episodes left. Do you have any further notes for this episode, Synoiz?
I don't know. I do like the idea of yelling, we're all out of globbers.
We're all out of globs.
We're all out of globbers.
I can't compete with that giant melons.
No, I think my favorite line is either, what is it? I have improved their lives without breaking protocol. We are also now rich. but I do like her. I do like Tendi being like, my away mission resume is going to be more padded than a Romulan's shoulder. It's just, it's simply the quality of the writing, where we're just going, we might not have these big plot points in this kind of thing, but we're getting a lot of lovely character moments, and we're getting a lot of funny one-liners.
I feel that the deep cuts this season are not visual; they are all in the script. And I love that, because you think we got reference to Carbon Creek, we got Next Generation in this, we got Romulans, we got and it's just they are done in such a way where you have to watch it like once or twice, twice or 3 times to sort of pick up on those nuances. Because I didn't know about the Romulan padded one, and I've seen it twice. And it's just like you pick up.
It's
on
when
those
she's
little
just
lines.
come through the door in the house. She's just come through the door and she's got a big
Oh,
basket full of
yes.
science projects and stuff. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, I've been going around doing science stuff all day. My resume's going to be padded."
But no, that was our review of Fully Dilated from season 5 of Star Trek Lower Decks. We are getting good at this. We are under an hour at the moment, so let's waste a little bit more time by saying, Science Officer Synoiz, what are you doing this week?
What am I doing this week? Well, I'll tell you. What I'll do is I'll tell you. I've been messing around today trying to get I've been pissing around on the phone to Virgin Media today.
Oh,
trying to get my broadband deal, because I was paying 60 quid a month for my broadband. Like,
what?
Ludicrous. Yeah, because I got out of contract and I just never got round to sorting it. And basically went in, and Virgin are clever, okay? They don't have any contact details or anything on the website to allow you to get in touch. They make it as difficult as possible.
Yeah.
And then when you phone up, okay, there was like 5 minutes of please press 1, press 3, enter the first digit of your whatever, all of that. And then they put me on hold to actually speak to someone, and they start playing Wonderwall. And I was just like, oh, you're good. You're good at this. And I was literally there, and I had to put my mobile phone on, like, obviously not on speaker because I didn't want to hear it, but like over there, just so I didn't turn it off, you know, just so I didn't cancel the call. No, not like this. But
Fun
no,
fact.
I was
fun
I was
fact.
on hold for about 7 Wonderwalls.
Fun fact. For comic relief in college, I played guitar for 8 hours straight, right?
Yeah.
My most requested song for 8 hours was
Yeah.
Wonderwall, and I played it at least 100 times.
Jesus Christ.
I hate that song.
Were there any survivors?
My fingers weren't.
I'm pretty sure that's what they. I'm pretty sure that's the tactic they use when people get cold feet at Dignitas.
I raised £70, and honestly, I just felt like climbing into a pod in Sweden.
Here's
But,
£50. Please stop.
Yeah, please stop.
Stop playing Wonderwall.
But no, this week,
Chris in the chat, fuck off.
yeah.
I said
you-
maybe.
Are you twitching at all?
I am. I'm gonna Twitch after this. We're not usually finished this early, so it'll probably be 1:30, and we'll play some games on my Twitch channel for a little bit. What else is on this weekend? We had the premiere on. What is it? We had the premiere on Wednesday. That's not coming out for a while. We had contract stuff or whatever. We have a new episode of the Girl podcast, GURL, with Davina De Campo, who is one of our favourite UK queens, who is absolutely amazing. And the episode is absolutely hilarious. She's talking about a new touring show called I Do Say, which is absolutely amazing. No, I Do Think, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, check that out by searching on Spotify for GURL podcast. Yeah.
Go.
And then on Sunday, I'm performing at the Eagle in Newcastle for their World AIDS Day. Because on Sunday is World AIDS Day, remembering all the people that have passed away because of HIV and AIDS related illnesses. And so we're raising money for what we had an argument today because we weren't sure who we were raising money for, me and the other performers. We were like, can we clarify what charity this is for? But it's for the Terence Higgins Trust on Sunday. But yeah, so I will be performing 3 numbers, I think, over the course of the night. So come down from 7 p.m. if you're in Newcastle and help us raise some cash.
Before I explain what I'm doing this week, I would like to point your eyes or peepers to the little description down below of all the Nerdy at North social media pages, because Paul and the Queen, Sammy, ventured down to that London this week to the Heritage Auctions to see lovely memorabilia from The Wizard of Oz and Judy Garland's red slippers, as well, for some reason, Macaulay Culkin's outfit from Home Alone. But please go check that out below. We have already posted the videos. Well done to Paul and Sammy. It was another successful event for them, so super proud.
She looked so happy. She was so happy getting to see all this memorabilia and stuff.
She is a queen, and we love Sammy so much. Paul, but we
all I did was troll. All I did was troll Paul. I was like, smash the glass, steal the witch's hat. Get the shoes, Paul. And Paul's just like, fuck off.
Posting a picture is just like, oh, he's got a foot fetish, hasn't he? But we
those ruby slippers.
Get a close up of the soles.
Yeah, let me touch your feet, you creepy witch. Speaking of which, Wicked's out now.
Yes. However, this week I have been very busy this week. I will be on Tuesday. Not me. Cousin Truckwell will be back this Tuesday, 6 p.m. on twitch.tv.
Shattered the illusion.
Nearly.
Can't allow people to know they're the same person.
Shh. He wears sunglasses. And a double denim. The Texan Tuxedo Man himself, Cousin Truckwell, will be on twitch.tv/Captain Goodwill this Tuesday at 6 p.m. for more American Truck Simulator. And it's going really well. There will be songs, there will be laughter, there will probably be drinking, because hell, who cares about drinking and driving nowadays?
Honestly, you on Twitch, I'm so glad you are back on Twitch. You are so funny on Twitch. Like, I was just watching it, and I was watching it as I was working on other stuff, and just stopped working in order to watch you pissing around with a stuffed fox, like breaking into song
leave
every
Jeff
5 minutes.
alone.
I just love the whole thing. I'm just like going, why are you doing all of this? And that's
Cousin
what I love about it.
Cousin Truckwell brings fun, he brings laughter, he brings conversation, and he brings song requests. But if that does not tickle your fancy, I am also part of a new series on the Clone Star podcast. He's going to make a joke, I know he is.
No,
titled,
make a joke about
the new
this?
show is titled The Dry Dock.
We've all been there when lube isn't available, Pet.
The Dry Dock is a brand new series from the Clone Star.
Spit.
The Dry Dock is a brand new series from the Clone Star podcast where me and Mike Overton, Mike number 1, I am Mike number 2, review the latest Starship collection from Fan Home. They are very lovely models, and me and Mike are spending whatever money that we have got left buying these ships, because evidently I don't need space in my house. So we have recorded the first episode this week reviewing the USS Titan A. That will go up on the Clone Star podcast channel on Tuesday. So please click the link down below and subscribe to the Clone Star podcast. Really, they have some banging celebrity interviews. And it's well worth it. Shosif and Mike put their heart and soul into that podcast, so please give them the support.
Please check out Clone Star. They are good at what they do.
Everything that is down below. There is so much for you to follow. Give Adam Asbridge a follow on Spotify and on TikTok.
Give him go and give him one. Go out there, give him one.
Give him a big one, because
give him the biggest one that you've got.
Give him a purple
That's what Adam
D.
needs.
Give him a purple D.
Give him a purple D.
Give
That's
him
what
a
he
purple
needs.
D. But apart from that, that has been our review of Fully Dilated. I would like to thank my delicious Geesian from the planet Honk, Science Officer Synoiz, for joining me once more. I have been Captain Goodwill, and as ever on Trekking up north, I want you all to look after each other, stay safe, live long and prosper, and... Miles?
Who cares? Get a job, Snell.
Miles?
Miles?
Miles? Miles? Miles? A moose boosh.